I'm with Rajesh Mirjankar, the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Kiya.ai. Key question for you, we're at the NextGen Core Banking Conference.
Yes.
What is the future of core banking for you?
I think from a perspective of what core banking is, my honest opinion is what we define as today's core banking will be the core ledger, and the future of core, when we say the core, will probably move to an engine that manages customer journeys and collates the data for customer preferences to be able to give hyper personalization to the customers.
Which is not what we understand as core banking now.
That's right.
It's going to change significantly. I want to pick you up on that point you made at the end there about data. It's all about managing the customer data. Most banks actually have lots of customer data. They just can't manage it because some of it's in one place, some of it's in another, some of it's in a third place,
Yes.
none of which talk to each other.
That's right.
So what you need as a core bank, as a core banking system for the future is something that allows you to access all that data and make sense of it and pull together the takeaways that are going to allow you to service your customers properly.
That's right. So if we were to look at the trend today, most successful banks have built partnerships with fintech firms, and so they don't own the entire customer journey. I think the core strength of a bank going forward would be to increase the efficiency of its ability to do funds, risk and information intermediation based on what role the client desires to have with the bank.
This is a fundamental change in thinking for a banker though, isn't it?
It is, and I think with the growth that we've seen, one with the API first sort of a economy that's building up, and then open banking as a standard. But importantly, if you look at the technologies that are coming up, we've seen the mobile revolution getting triggered by the advent of smartphones. And I think you now have 3 or 4 technologies that would come in, 5G and IoT as a combination, which will drive edge computing. And then you have on the core capability, large scale processing with hyper-converged infrastructure. And so you have the strengths at both ends, one being able to deliver all services seamlessly and scalably through the cloud, and the other with the capability of having a hyper-personalized front-end product processor for the clients. And I think banks need to take a decision of which way they want to balance it, and arriving at the point of saying that provide a simple and scalable core with the capability for a flexible, hyper-personalized front-end engine would be the right balance.
So the bottom line is the core is dead as we know it. Long live the core, but it's going to be a different core.
I think it's right, because when you define core, it has to be core to the business and not core to where the entries go, right? If you look at the age why core banking as a word emerged, it was because you had a central server or a distributed server, whichever it was, with the core capability of capturing screens that it itself rendered on the front end. So if you look at classical legacy banking, the front end was rendered by the core, which is not the case today. We've got 90% of the transactions that aren't human driven, and so that has to change. The aspect of core has to change. It is then a database, and you got to then focus to say, how do I make efficiencies work for that 90% of transactions that aren't human driven and that need better servicing in terms of customer service, in terms of improving my cost income ratios, and importantly being able to deliver a wow factor for customers.
Rajesh Mirjankar, Managing Director and CEO of Kiya.ai, thank you very much.
Thank you.